Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about git-worktree. First, we are going to explain what are git-worktree. In this case, we are going to clone our repository as we are normally used to. Then, once we sit into the repository, then we can see we have already checked out master branch. Now, if we go into new vim, then in order to change to another branch, then we can select this one, for example, fix CI, and then we are in fix CI branch. Okay, so the problem with this approach is that, let's say I make a change in this branch, and then we have to switch back to the previous branch. Then what we can do is we can git stash, but then you have to remember which git stash you were working on if you have multiple ones, and it's quite inefficient. So with this regard, we can use git-worktree. And what are git-worktree? It's just like a folder where you store where you check out a branch, and we can even use git-worktree in this kind of a scenario. We can do git-worktree add. Then we need to specify the let's first see which branches we have. Here, let's say, for example, we have a dev branch. Okay, here we have a dev branch. So you have to specify the name of the folder, let's say wtdev, and then the branch. Now if we hit enter, then we can see we have another folder, and in this folder we have the contents of the branch dev. But as you can see, we have the folder structure of the fix CI branch, and then we have another folder with the same contents but with a dev branch checked out. As you can see, working with this approach is not very clear. It's kind of confusing. We can do better. Let's remove the repository, and then we are going to clone the repository, but using git clone bear. gc is a custom command that I have, where I do git clone bear, and also well, we can see it here in bin. If I open the gc bear sh, then what I am doing basically is using git clone bear, and also I'm configuring the origin fetch, which is needed to track the remote branches properly. But basically it's doing a git clone bear. What is a git clone bear? Then if we check out CD into the telescope, then we can see the contents. We don't have any branch checked out this time. So what do we do now? Then what we can do is, again, use git-worktree, and now we have a folder in wtdev where we have checked out the dev branch. We can also do the same for master branch. Okay, so now we have two branches, dev and master. Now if I make changes in the master branch, here we can see the div, and I have a change in the readme file. Now if I want to move to branch dev, I could move directly like this, and then if I open readme, then we can see we have the readme from the master branch and the readme on the right of the dev branch. And here I can make another change. Okay, so now I have opened both files. And as you can see, you can imagine the benefits of doing this. Now if I run git diff, then I see the changes of the dev branch. Okay, so the idea is like that. But of course, there are some problems with working with git-worktrees. I have them here. Okay, so to sum up the benefits, with git-worktrees, you check out different commits at the same time. You can compare file content between same files on different branches. You don't need to use git stash to switch to another branch. And also, what are the main problems that we were talking about? So the main problem is if you work with Node, then you have a Node modules folder, and you don't want to have Node modules here and also Node modules in WT master, because that could take up a lot of disk space. This is one problem, and the other one is you don't want to, here we are inside telescope.nvim, but we don't want to open NeoVim and then cd into the branch that we were working before. So how do we solve these problems? So the idea that I thought is to make work with worktrees similar to what we are used to. How do we do it? So node modules on worktree change, then we are going to copy over the node modules directory to the new folder, and we are going to store the last active worktree that we were working when we exit NeoVim, and when we enter, then we are going to cd into the last active worktree. So how do we do it? So in case you don't know, we have a nice plugin which was originally developed by the Primegen called git-worktree.nvim, and now it is unmaintained by him, but there is another guy who is working on it called PolarMutex. And also I forked his repository to make some customizations, and the idea is that if we go to worktrees, this is the place where you configure in NeoVim how this plugin is going to work. So the idea of the plugin is that it exposes some hooks. A hook where when you switch repository, you can pass a function to act on a switch of worktree. In this case, with this code that I wrote myself, what we are doing is we are storing on disk the last active worktree, and also we are sending all the terminals from NeoVim. We are sending a command to cd into the new worktree that we have switched. We can react to switch, to git-worktree create, and git-worktree delete. And by customizing this code, then you can make the workflow very similar to what we are used to, if not the same, with the benefits of git-worktrees. We can see it in action in this repo, for example. Now I have, as you can see, I entered NeoVim and I am already on develop branch. Now I can move to main branch and I switch to the folder wt main. And as you can see, here I have node modules, but now in develop I don't have node modules. Okay, so if I move to develop, then node modules are copied over. Okay, so these are the two main features of git-worktrees, and the two main problems that we can solve with a little bit of Lua code, and then we are good to go and program as we are used to without having to use git stash. So I will link the repository, the link to my fork of the git-worktree plugin, and also the link to my dotfiles, where you can see down here in NeoVim in the worktrees Lua file how I configure everything. Okay, so hope you liked, and let me know in the comments if you have any doubts or if you want me to dig a little bit deeper.